in charge is Dr. Nitin. Presenting Mr. H, he's a 35-year-old school teacher from Andhra Pradesh who presented on 5th of this month with a snake bite on the previous night. He complained of painful swelling over the bite site, which is the right lower limb. There was also history of an incision over the bite site, which was done at home time. There's no history of bleeding manifestation, blurring of eyes, abdominal pain, hematuria, reduced urine output, dark colored urine, breathlessness, or chest pain. He has no known comorbidities. He had initially presented to Chittoor CMC, where his whole blood clotting test was positive, and he was started on 10 vials of ASV. Soon into the infusion, he started developing anaphylactic reaction requiring adrenaline. Therefore, ASV was withheld and he was referred here for further management. On examination, the patient was tachycardic. Otherwise, BP was normal. Respiratory rate, he was breathing at 22 cycles per minute. Saturation was normal. On examination, systemic examination was normal. Local site examination over the right ankle on the lateral malleolus. He had an incised wound with slough. There was cellulitis features like swelling, tenderness, and edema, and warmth was noticed. On investigating, his WBCT was positive. His coagulation profile was deranged. Fibrinogen level was low. Urine routine showed microscopic hematuria and presence of protein. His urea creatinine was elevated with Bun-Creat ratio showing an intrinsic type of injury. CPK was 321, which is mildly elevated. Subsequently, by day 3 of admission, he developed a drop in hemoglobin and a drop in platelets, with smear showing features of fragmented RBCs and schistocytes of 0.6%. Reticulocyte count was 1.3%. So the final diagnosis which we made was that of a snake bite with systemic envenomation, hemotoxicity manifested as a venom-induced consumptive coagulopathy, an AKI with intrinsic injury which was multifactorial, probable venom-induced acute tubular necrosis, and thrombotic microangiopathy. Now, over the last 1.5 months, we had 4 patients with snakebite who presented with an acute kidney injury. This is just a basic tabular form of those patients with some of their characteristic findings. So, first patient presented with hemotoxic manifestation with neurotoxic features in the form of ptosis and anuria. He was given 10 vials of ASV outside and was given another 10 vials here because of persisting hemotoxicity. There was no anaphylactic reaction to ASV. The AKI presentation was noticed on day 1 itself, and the mode of injury was rhabdomyolysis with some features of TMA. He needed 3 sessions of dialysis, and by day 49, his creatinine level had come to a stable level, and outcome wise, he improved, and on follow up, he had a normal renal function. Second patient also presented with hemotoxicity, AKI, and neurotoxicity in the form of ophthalmoplegia. He was given 8 vials of ASV in our hospital, and he developed anaphylactic reaction. AKI was manifested on day 1 itself, and here the mode of injury was ATN and TMA. He also required 3 sessions of dialysis, but here he continued to have renal dysfunction. He's currently admitted and continuing to require hemodialysis. Third patient also presented with hemotoxicity, oliguria, and neurotoxicity. He was given 28 vials of ASV in a government hospital, required another 10 vials here because of bleeding manifestation. There was no anaphylaxis. He also had AKI at presentation, and here the mode was TMA, rhabdomyolysis, and ATN. He required 4 sessions of dialysis. He is currently admitted in ICU with worsening renal function. Fourth patient presented only with hemotoxic features. He was given 8 vials of ASV and he developed anaphylactic reaction to it. And the kidney injury started by day 2. Here, the mode was TMA and ATN. And he did not require any dialysis. By day 16, his creatinine level started improving and continues to improve now. So observation made through these are that all 4 patients presented with hemotoxicity. 3 out of the 4 had reduced urine output at presentation with elevated creatinine, and the cause of renal dysfunction is multifactorial, most commonly being ATN with an early features of TMA. and 2 out of the 4 have shown improvement with no residual renal dysfunction. Coming to my topic, snakebite has a mortality in India of around 35,000 to 50,000 each year, with the highest, with India being recording the highest in the world. AKI is an important complication and major cause of mortality in snakebite. The implicating snakes are hematotoxic snakes like Russell viper, saw-scale viper, and hump-nosed pit viper, which are the common snakes seen in South India. Incidence is around 5 to 29% depending upon the severity of envenomation. The mechanism is multifactorial with hemorrhage, hemolysis, disseminated intravascular coagulopathy, hypotension, rhabdomyolysis, all adding to renal ischemia leading to AKI. The renal pathologies is also wide variety. They can present with tubular necrosis, glomerulonephritis, cortical necrosis, interstitial nephritis, or vasculitis. The onset may occur as short as few hours to as long as 96 hours. The duration of AKI may persist from 2 to 4 weeks. And the most common pathology seen is tubular necrosis. If we have a patient with prolonged AKI with persisting oliguria, we should consider possibility of a cortical necrosis or an ATN with interstitial nephritis. The predictors of AKI in snakebite have been found to be bleeding tendencies and hypotension and wound complications. Prolonged bite to initial ASV administration time has been found to have, such patients are found to have AKI. And the outcome of snakebite AKI, older age, long duration of renal replacement therapy, hemotoxic envenomation, shock, and thrombocytopenia, all of them are associated with poorer outcomes. This was a study done in our center where the incidence of AKI was found in snake bites was around 21%, while 38% needed dialysis, and the inpatient mortality was around 6%. The number of patients with normalized serum creatinine at discharge was 16%, while 84% had persistent renal dysfunction at discharge. However, 19% had normal creat by the end of 1 month, and around 50% had normal creat by subsequent months. Since we had all the 4 patients had features of TMA as an etiology for AKI, this was a study done. It was a case record based retrospective study done in Manipal. Here, out of the 181 snake bites with AKI, 19 had features of TMA. And we noticed that the patients with TMA had increased need of RRT, increased sessions of dialysis, and increased hospital stay. But overall mortality has been almost similar in both the cases. The management, so the increased delay in the bite to ASV administration is associated with increased risk of developing AKI. Therefore, early administration of ASV is important. Early initiation of dialysis and careful monitoring is required. Role of corticosteroids has not been adequately mentioned. Plasmapheresis has some role in severe envenomation where we can remove the excessive amount of complements and toxins circulating in the circulation. However, we need more large sample-based, well-designed studies to validate this benefit. So the take-home message from this is that snakebite associated AKI is commonly seen with hemotoxic bites, and the most common pathological correlate of AKI is acute tubular necrosis. And the AKI which occurs secondary to a thrombotic microangiopathy has prolonged in-hospital stay. Renal dysfunction in AKI, renal dysfunction in snakebite associated AKI may take 2 to 5 weeks for recovery onset, and some of them may progress to end stage renal disease. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from anyone? Nitin or others? If there are no other comments, we can call it a day.
Sir, we just wanted to stress on the high incidence of renal injury in snake bites, and the most common pathology based on the literature also, and for our patients also, we are considering most probably venom-induced direct tubular damage causing ATN. Let's say 2 of them out of the 4 recovered by 3 weeks, and 2 are still on dialysis.
Sure. Thanks, Nitin. Mana, you want to say something?
No, it's me only, Don. I would like to
Okay.
thank Dr. Abhimanish for chairing today's session and all the four registrars who enthusiastically made the presentation and presented good cases. Appreciate participation from all the participants in the midst of this pandemic. And thank you once again, and good afternoon to everyone.